You know, I travel around the world. I'm really lucky to have a life that allows me to travel. And I get to experience and work with all sorts of businesses, all sorts of sizes, all sorts of sectors, all sorts of different CEOs. And one thing that is almost always common, and I say always, 90% of the time, is when leaders and CEOs ask their people to be both innovative and disruptive, to think in the box to keep the existing business going, and then to magically become somebody else and think out of the box. Like, how do we just sit down and because we're in a room with a whiteboard on it, we magically become somebody else who has a totally different perspective of the world, and we can think about the existing business that we've been running, trained for, and educated for the last 20 years to think out the box. It's the most ridiculous notion, and I don't understand why people don't see it. You know, I was sitting in an office of a multi-billionaire, an amazing man who has built an incredible business, which his father started or his grandfather started, one of the largest privately owned businesses in the Middle East. And I had a strategy session with him, and he was still like adamant that he was going to ask his existing staff to think out the box. And so I explained to him, you know, Shein has arrived, this clothing brand. I speak about it a lot. If you've been to any of my talks, you'll know that Shein is this new clothing brand that's built on a brand new system called economies of learning, not economies of scale. And my example is if Zara was so clever and is so clever, why didn't they come up with Shein? And the reason is that Zara is incredible at innovating. And innovation is doing what you did last year, just better, more modified, more efficient. And so Zara is at the pinnacle of efficiencies, of economies of scale. What they're able to do with their 1,670 stores around the world, deliver to them twice, take design to store within 15 days. I mean, it's just magical what they've done. But even in all their genius, they never came up with Shein. Neither did Blockbuster come up with Netflix. Neither did Mercedes-Benz come up with Tesla. Neither did. Keep going. Neither did. And you keep going through these stories. But then still leaders want their existing staff that they've hired for keeping a business stable and modified bit by bit to also think outside the box. It's impossible. You can't do that. It doesn't work. That's why the smartest businesses in the world have today teams and tomorrow teams. Today teams are all about innovation, modification, doing things better like they did last year. Disruption, however, always comes from outside the sector. Disruption is making your current business model obsolete to create a new business model. This is what we need to be doing as leaders, is thinking about today, keeping the lights on, hiring a new team to discover tomorrow. The team will have new capabilities, new skills, no legacy thinking, and brand new KPIs to drive forward for. So when you're asking your team to think out the box, stop. Please stop. It's impossible. We don't often have the capabilities within our brains, our education, who we are, to think outside of ourselves. It doesn't work like that. It's too different. The future has got too many new technologies, the blockchain, cryptocurrencies, AI, and now you're asking people that have done a BCom 20 years ago or a master's or an MBA to come up with new ideas that are totally disruptive in their own sector. Doesn't work. So do yourself a favor. Build a today team, give them the directives for today, the innovation, the modification, and then hire a small team that runs in parallel, that thinks about your sector in totally brand new ways. No matter how small or how big you are, this is available to you. And when there's chaos, there's massive opportunity. Today and tomorrow, split it up. Get them to focus on what they need to. Ciao from Cape Town.